All right, so Jeff Lindsay in the garage with you Sunday the 19th. Miserable weather, rainy, not much going on. It's after lunch. We decided we'd get out and mess with the car a little bit today, and we'll do a little something. We need to mount the fender skirt braces that go to the firewall. Need to check those. We need to mount our core support braces to the subframe that we've got over there. And I think that's going to wind it up for bracketry, bracing, that type of stuff. Went ahead and laid the hood in, my son and I, and just kind of moved it around just to see kind of how the gaps were looking. They're not terrible bad. I'll show you a shot of that. All right, that was just a quick picture. We ended up with probably a full 1/4 inch gap in the front on each side and about 1/8 of an inch in the back. So we know we've got a little bit of work to do. This fender needs to come out just a little in the back, and I'm going to have to try to tighten up in this area right here as much as possible. I'm not going to do any serious modification to this header panel. I'm going to go in there and make sure there's nothing holding that off. You can see there's a little gap. It's not all the way together. And it's not all the way together on this side. And that'll throw a little bit more of a gap here, but it's not too terrible. It's not bad at all. I wish I had taken some pictures of that when I had the hood on just to show you, but once we get the hinges on, get the springs on the hinges, we'll be able to put the hood up there and get it in a working position, hopefully. And we'll be able to let it up and down and put the bumpers on so we don't do any damage, hopefully. We've got all of our bumpers now. Some of the things that we got in, window regulators, hinges, springs, some of the smaller hardware, the full bumper kit for the whole car, all the little rubber bumpers under the hood for the doors, for different areas. We got the whole kit for that. So new retainers and retaining rings or trim rings for the headlight area. We did not get the bezels or the buckets yet. They should be here hopefully first of the week. We'll keep an eye on that. But as soon as we get some of these brackets done and on there and make sure they fit, we're going to drop back and see if we can mount the hinges. So as we have a little progress, we'll bring you around. All right, Tubers, just bringing you along, showing you what we're up to. The subframe to core brackets up underneath back there are in, and they're really hard to see. I don't know if you can see this one back here, and that's really not all that important to see them, but they're there. You can see where the bolts are coming through the core. That all lined up good. Happy about that. So we came back. This fender skirt bracket right here just fell right into place. You can see the bolt coming up through the fender. And you can see that one shining in there. We only put 2 in, and the reason why is it lined up good and there's plenty of room. It's a big hole. Same thing with this one, just fell right into place. Bolt coming up through the skirt to the bracket, bolts in the bracket to the firewall. Really kind of surprised, but it's supposed to line up. Sometime, every now and then, you're supposed to get something that lines up. So just 4 more pieces to the puzzle in the front that we've got knocked out. Now we're going to see if we can round up some hardware to mount the hinges. We feel like we've got the fenders on good enough. I don't think they're going anywhere. So now we're going to do the hinges and see what happens. bring you back. All right, guys, just bring you along. We got the hood hinges mounted. We do not have the springs on yet. I've got an idea or two on how to do that, but I'm probably going to stop right here, watch a couple of videos, and if there's some kind of little slick trick somebody has figured out through the years, because these things are pretty daggum tough. I mean, they're heavy, they're strong, and they've got to move. They've got to move 2.5, 3 inches, so it makes sense. But we'll figure that part of it out, and we'll let you look at the hinges there one more time. First time I've seen this car with hinges on it. It did not come with them on it, did not have a hood. So there we go. More and more stuff being added to the car. More and more stuff that's gonna have to come off. But that's okay, we gotta make sure everything, yada yada. Gotta make sure it fits first. All right, we'll bring you around. All right, Tubers, we took a little break, watched a video or two about putting these springs on. One guy had a log chain, he was pulling them. I tried to pull, I didn't have a chain, but I had some rope, and I tried to pull that daggone hinge on, spring onto that hinge, and I couldn't budge it. I mean, it was tough. So I'll show you what I came up with and how I put this spring on. As soon as I do it on the other one. It's simple if you've got the thing to do it with. If you don't have the thing to do it with, obviously you're going to have to do something else. And I'm sure there's 100 different ways to put these springs on, but I'm going to show you the way that I came up with. And it was pretty daggum simple and fairly safe, I thought. So I'll set this camera up and take that other one off, and maybe it'll work out as slick as this one did. You won't know it, because if I have to do 2 or 3 takes to get it look right. But anyway, bring you right back with that. All right, YouTube. This is nothing more than an Irwin quick grip clamp from Lowe's. And what it does, it allows you to turn these pieces around backwards and actually pull apart, as well as compress like I think it's originally supposed to be done. But once you start pulling that spring apart and get it to a spot where it's about right to put on there, you may have to just take a pair of pliers and turn that spring just enough to make sure that when you release it, that spring catches on that thing right there. And then you just take a razor blade like I did. There's no sense in worrying about saving these little pieces of rope. If they fall off on the backside, you can't get them out. So you just take and whack-a-do them off. And if one gets caught under the spring, of course, that's something new. We'll see if we can't pull it out from in there. I believe we can probably get it. Yeah, I believe it'll come right out. But anyway, that was a pretty slick, easy little trick. And there we got the rope out of it. Or most of it. Yes, out there. There we go. Alright. Fairly simple, fairly easy. Just a Irwin quick grip clamp. Turn around backwards so that it'll pull apart. That's the easiest thing I could think of. A couple of videos I watched, I didn't really get much out of them. One of them the guy had a chain, and I mean it worked for him, but I couldn't get it to work for me. So we just figured that out and come up with that. I like it. All right, we'll bring you back. All right, Tubers, shot of the hinges with the springs. Brackets in the front, brackets in the back, on the skirts, hinges. Not too bad of a afternoon. A little bit productive. Got a few things done. Next thing we'll do is try to get the hood on, get it adjusted a little bit. We'll probably take the time to put in our bumpers on the fenders and our stops in this area here and on the front of the core. I'm not 100% sure where they go. We're gonna have to look. There's a bunch of holes up here. So I want to think maybe here and there. Bracket goes here. It could be out in here. As a matter of fact, I think it is. Should be one out in there. Let's take a look. This won't tell us anything, but it's a bolt with a bumper. Let's see if they'll fit in there. Yeah, that one screws right in, and then that bumper probably goes right over the head of that, just like that. So that's probably the location for these. I'll look in the book before I do anything crazy. Alright, if we've got enough time for a video this afternoon, we might put it up. If not, we'll add to it. But either way, we'll bring you back.